April 15th, 2022. I'm just watching the television, and again, I haven't been exposed to or watched a lot of movies in my life frame, so I consider the minimal exposure that I've had to television or to the movie theater, whatever creations, significant for universal signage. But they're showing this morning something that I haven't thought about in a long time. Came out, they said in 1987. It was called Inner Space. Innerspace, with Dennis Quaid. For me, the movie was significant. For me, the movie was real. And for me, it was signs that frightened the heck out of me as a child. But for whatever reason, Lou and Lynn, however I was able to see that movie, we sat down and we watched it together. And it was Dennis Quaid in his adult size, shrunk down, and then injected his human self. And he had a pilot, a whatever. And then you watch him go through the body. Now, what's interesting is one of the reporters on CBS this morning has seen it. The other two, Gail and Tony, never even heard of it in the 80s. And I'm like, how could that possibly be? But, I mean, it's such a significant movie. But this is them telling the story. Or telling the story.
Worry about these days. We welcome you back to CBS Morning. It's time to bring you some of the stories that we call Talk with a Table. You see this table we're talking about?
We're talking.
You're up first.
I'm going first. All right, my talk on the table is something that used to just be science fiction. Now it's turning into a reality.
What's going on?
Jack, you did real good. I want you to try to calm down, Jack.
Yes, that is Martin Short. You remember the 1987 movie Inner Space. That is where Dennis Quaid is miniaturized and then accidentally injected into Martin Short. You remember that? Well, scientists know. You don't remember that film?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, man.
That was the shot we saw from Inner Space was inside.
Yes, that was Dennis Quaid piloting a little miniaturized robotic ship inside Martin Short while he's in his body.
But you remember.
I remember this film, and I think a lot of
Tony and I are like,
remember this film
okay.
too. So now, here's the science part of it. Scientists want to start sending tiny robots into people's brains to help with certain diseases. A California startup has received FDA approval to begin clinical trials on humans using tiny devices that are guided by magnets. Unless you think that art does not inspire reality. The scientist, the CEO, says he was inspired by Isaac Asimov's book, Fantastic Voyage, where a group of scientists go into a human body to treat a blood clot. So here's what they're trying to do.
Did you see that movie?
What were those little bullets in like?
So those are the little robots that scientists will use to open cysts in the brain, and that will allow those little robots to relieve pressure by releasing fluid from the brain. They say that they're hopeful that these devices can be used to treat brain disorders alike. This is a really important one, Dandy-Walker syndrome, which can cause brain cysts in children.
I hope it works. Anything that can provide relief for somebody, I'm all for it.
And it's been treated successfully in animals, so it's a real thing happening.
That's what I like about Talk of the Table, though, because you pick stories that are unique to you.
Yes.
Would you have picked that story, Tony?
No.
See, the interesting thing is I've seen the movie. I don't know what this dandy whatever is. I've never heard about it. Like the follow-up conversations. I know I've heard that not every movie is released into the population, almost like pollinating ideas or keeping a whatever, on a larger social study kind of a way of how do you control a conversation, how do you have a release valve, that kind of thing. But these are thoughts and topics that have been ongoing, like they were doing them decades before I arrived. Now it's just in a horrible whatever. But I know I was exposed to the movie Inner Space by visual, for possibility of what to expect or what might come within my life frame, and what is like bigger, more dangerous people, populations, and companies may be working on. Their theory is in the movie somewhere, but then how they organize and how they effectuate their actions outside of the movie theory realm is where I have no construct. I don't know how they did it. I've been taking samples of this area of how it's changed for the worse, and who seems to be popping up in visual references, as getting ahead while I'm not. And I'm in this area at the moment in North America, under the us that doesn't really look like Martin Short and Dennis Quaid anymore in the us. For that scenario, it's looking like I don't know what. But for taking a topic and putting a cast with that topic and marrying it together, in almost like a document or documentation or like a declaration of some sort, is how I look at the studios and the movies. How they tie other pieces together for safety procedures and for future disruptive whatever that may try to come up and might try to hurt based on whatever. I'm not sure. How they try to protect, using that as a platform in order to effectuate protection over someone like a Martin Short, myself, and Dennis Quaid in that type of situation. Again, I'm not sure because I don't have access to these people. I don't have access to industry professionals. But I'm within the city limits of a very hustling, bustling, whatever. And there is a point where the more you add in, the less effective you become. And again, it's been known to be used as a strategy in order to, as a major disruptor. And unfortunately, I feel like somebody's taking advantage of that known fact, and perpetuating this. And it's become really, it's become dangerous, but on a hard to explain platform, where this population on the news media and so on and so forth, they all of a sudden, it's not like you're highly educated. It's now like this socially engineered, oh, it's a mental disease. Just right, they're write-offs, they're throw-offs, like they're just throwaways. It's some form of mental disease. No, it's a much more integrated scenario and scene. One that one did not sign up for as a child, nor a teenager, nor an adult, but's been plagued by things that are withheld from this particular section of if this is a Jurassic Park, this part of the park has been withheld, or at least my portion has been withheld from a lot of other things that are going on elsewhere. It's a blessing and it's a curse all in one. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies, broken. What I don't understand is why the team effect, being TEAM, has been withheld from my person and from my ability to get to or perform. There is no team here as far as I can see or that I have direct contact with.